Hey everyone, so today we're going to be doing our NFL offseason recap. The first team we're going to be looking at is the Los Angeles Chargers. We're going to be talking about what they did in free agency, what they should be looking forward to in the draft, and who else they could possibly sign to help them make a Super Bowl run. To start, we're going to be looking at the 2019 season for the Chargers. So they had a 5-11 record in the regular season while going 0-6 in their division, which is the AFC West. But once again, the Chargers were hit hard by injury luck last year. Derwin James, who was a first-team All-Pro as a rookie last year, broke his foot during training camp and missed 3 months, which meant he only came back during Week 12. Starting left tackle Russell Okung also had a pulmonary embolism, which kept him out until Week 7 of the regular season, and he was hampered by a groin injury throughout the rest of the season. Starting center and Pro Bowl center Mike Pouncey also broke his neck during a Week 7 game against the Titans and was out for the rest of the year. They also had numerous main guys like Melvin Ingram, Mike Williams, and Adrian Phillips all missed time due to injuries that they suffered in the season. Now, when looking at the Chargers as a whole, they're the 13th best offensive DVOA during the regular season. And if you don't know what DVOA is, it's a statistic used by Football Outsiders that calculates the true performance of an NFL team during the regular season. Now, when looking at their offense, they were hit hard by a down season by Phillip Rivers, who had 23 turnovers, 20 picks, which was a huge step down from the MVP performance he had the year before. The holdout of Melvin Gordon didn't help either, as he came back into an elite rushing attack, but he really slowed it down, and his yards per carry dropped from 5.1 to 3.8. Now, they were led by receivers Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, while Austin Eckler had an excellent year, which led to him getting a new contract. Now, on the defensive side of the board, they had the 21st best defensive DVOA, but looking at it, they only gave up the sixth least passing yards per game in a division where you have gunslingers like Patrick Mahomes in there. So they weren't doing that bad on defense. It's just that their offense sometimes put them in hard situations, which led them to give up points or yards that they didn't really need to. Now, before free agency started on March 18th, they made some moves during the offseason after the regular season end. One move was signing offensive line coach James Campen from the Green Bay Packers, which was a big move in getting Brian Bulaga to sign with the Chargers during free agency. Now, one of the biggest trades that happened was the offensive lineman trade. The Chargers sent Russell Okung to the Panthers for Try Turner, five-time Pro Bowler, and a stout offensive guard for the past couple of years. Now, on paper, this looks like a win for the Chargers, which I think it is also. But if you look at Try Turner as a player, he's more of a run blocking mauler than a true all around offensive lineman. He gave up around 6 sacks last year, which is an unusually high number for an offensive guard that has made 5 straight Pro Bowls with the Carolina Panthers. So you can see that the Chargers are trying to transition to a run zone scheme, or zone run scheme, if you call it that. And Try Turner fits that bill perfectly, as he is able to get out and hit people, get up to the second level, get the linebacker out of the play. They also cut nose tackle Brandon Mebane and linebacker Thomas Davis, who were both leaders in the locker room. They restructured Denzel Perriman's contract so that they would be able to free up cap space to sign more free agents. And I think the biggest move for them was re-signing Austin Eckler to a 4-year, $24.5 million contract. This is a huge deal for them, as they locked him up before he could hit free agency. And Eckler has turned into one of the better receiving backs in the NFL, as he had 993 receiving yards last year. He's also become more of an all-around runner with the football. It's just unfortunate he had to be in a timeshare with Melvin Gordon. Otherwise, his value would be way higher than what it is right now. Look to him to lead the Chargers backfield in the 2020 season and be a star like he was last year. Now, during free agency, I think the Chargers had one of the more successful off seasons out of most NFL teams. For one, they started free agency by tagging Hunter Henry, which is a huge win for them. Allowing a tight end like him to get on the open market would be devastating for them in a tight end room that only has Virgil Green and Sean Culkin in it. So getting their star tight end back was a huge win. They also made a great move in signing Brian Bulaga. That right side of the offensive line has been hit hard by inconsistency and poor play from guys like Sam Tevi and Trent Scott. Signing him to a 3-year, $30 million contract, which was about the same as George Fant got from the Jets, was a huge win for them. And Bulaga is also reunited with his longtime offensive line coach, James Campen, which I already mentioned. The second move they made was signing Linval Joseph to a 2-year, $17 million contract. after they cut Brandon Mebane, there was a huge hole in nose tackle, and Linval Joseph is a run stuffing two down nose tackle, which I think fits perfect in the Chargers defense. His 2019 year was a bit of a down year for him, but like most others in the Vikings defense, he just had a negative regression from 2 years of elite play. So hopefully, with a change of scenery in LA, he'll go back to his elite run stuffing form. Signing him for 8.5 mil a year is also great value for a player that needs to rebuild his value back up. The third move we made, which I think was the best move we made all offseason, was signing Chris Harris Jr. to man the slot position. Now, some Chargers fans might look at it as a negative because we already have Desmond King there, but realize that Desmond King is one of the most versatile corners in the league. With Adrian Phillips gone, we can move King to that dime nickel linebacker spot, or he can play the free safety or inside outside corner, and we can let Harris go back to the position he made all the money in, becoming one of the best corners at, which is his slot corner position. So getting him for only 10 mil a year was a great deal, and he fits perfectly with guys like Casey Hayward and Derwin James in our secondary. And the final position we addressed was our linebacking position, which is Nick Vigil. Vigil is more of a coverage linebacker, which I think was a great signing because letting guys like Thomas Davis go, we needed another outside linebacker spot that could possibly handle running backs or get assigned to tight ends. And Vigil has broken up over 14 passes in the past 3 years, which I think was a huge positive and another solid signing for just 1 year. Now, at the time this video is being made, which is Thursday, March 26th, the Chargers still have about 8.5 million in cap space remaining. So I think, in my opinion, they should go out all in for a left tackle such as Jason Peters to really anchor that left side and be a mentor for third round pick Trey Pipkins last year. And I think Peters, who's still playing at a high level despite his age, will be a great pickup for the Chargers. And they will have two veterans on both sides to protect Tyrod Taylor and be able to block for Austin Eckler. So the Chargers have been known for having a lot of depth, but this year there was a lot of players that left in free agency. Our 16-year quarterback, Phil Rivers, left to the Colts to be reunited with Nick Sirianni and Frank Reich, both of who he worked with in his prime years in 2012 to 2014. Melvin Gordon signed with the Broncos. Derek Watt went to the Steelers. Our two backup receivers, Jeremy Davis and Travis Benjamin, went to the Lions and Niners, respectively. Jatavis Brown, our middle linebacker, went to the Eagles. Thomas Davis went to the Redskins. Our special teams ace, Nick DeZubnar, went to the Titans. Our do-it-all safety / dime linebacker, Adrian Phillips, went to the Patriots, who I was really sad about. I was hoping we could give some money to him, and he really does earn it because he's a great tackler. He hits hard. He can cover tight ends, and he had a great playoff game 2 years ago against the Ravens, recovering a fumble and picking off Lamar Jackson. And Jalen Watkins, who I think performed admirably when Adrian Phillips and Derwin James were out this year, went to the Texans, and they got a great pickup with that. Now, the big question in the NFL draft is, who do the Chargers take at 6? It is widely known that the Chargers are looking to draft a quarterback with the number 6 pick, which means they're in play for guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, and Jordan Love. In my opinion, I think Tua is the best out of the three, but we are more likely to get Herbert because Miami, who's picking at 5, also needs a quarterback, and they're more likely to take Tua than Herbert. So I think taking a quarterback of the future is important because most Super Bowls are actually won by quarterbacks who are on their rookie deal because the teams only have to pay them $5 to $7 million a year rather than the $30 million they have to give to quarterbacks who are entering their prime, like Dak Prescott or Russell Wilson. I think offensive lineman is another position the Chargers could look to pick at pick 6. With Bulaga and Trey Turner anchoring the right side, they need guys on the left side. You can't have Trey Pipkins and Dan Feeney both starting. So look to them to take someone like Jedrick Willis, Andrew Thomas, or Tristan Wirfs with the number 6 pick, someone who would fit their zone run scheme, and also pass block for Tyrod Taylor. And finally, I think the Chargers need a third receiver behind Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. They've lacked speed for a long time. Travis Benjamin wasn't able to fill that role. So they could look to draft someone like Jalen Reagor or KJ Hamler in the second or third round. They don't need someone in the first round. They can get someone in day 2, day 3. And DN, because Melvin Ingram is going to be a free agent next year, and we're probably going to extend Bosa in this offseason, so we're not going to have enough money to pay Melvin Ingram probably, so we need to draft a DN to develop and become a starter by next year. Uchenna Nwosu has been able to fill that outside linebacker role, and we could possibly move him to defensive end. but our backups like Isaac Rochelle haven't been able to impress in various roles that we've given them. So looking to draft a DN in day two or day three is an importance for the Chargers. Well, that's all for this NFL offseason recap of the Los Angeles Chargers. Leave a like and comment your prediction for the Chargers record next season and what do you think they should have done in free agency. And don't forget to subscribe for more NFL offseason recaps.